A driver's success in a couple races isn't the only factor in whether or not they're considered for the NASCAR Cup Series. Only a driver who excels under pressure can bring forth the full potential of the best car in its class. On November 4th, 2022, at Phoenix Raceway, Zane Smith won the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Zane Smith's front row motorsports truck was the race's best, and he led 77 of them. The pit stop was slower than expected, dropping him to 4th place among those who started with new tires. The power of his truck was such that he had to essentially outrun his rivals on the final lap to prevent them from touching his bumper. There was little cause for surprise in Zane Smith's dominance. The victory was his 4th of the year and gave him the regular season title. As Zane Smith put it, the third time is the charm. He said he didn't expect it to be that dramatic. The 23-year-old race car driver has caught the attention of Cup teams because of his exceptional maturity and competence. Smith's chances of becoming a well-known race car driver are increasing. However, rivals in earlier Truck Series have had to deal with criticism like this. Several drivers have won the Truck Series championship, but none have ever repeated that feat in the Cup Series. Kurt Busch is the first driver in NASCAR history to win both the Truck and Cup titles in the same season. It's true that some Truck Series champions have found success in the Cup, but none of them have ever won the series. Racing fans are starting to rally around Smith, who made his Cup debut in June of last year, when Brad Keselowski chose him to replace a sick Chris Buechner at Gateway. His super speedway prowess and maturity helped him finish 17th in his debut Cup race, qualifying him to compete in the sport's biggest event, the Daytona 500, in February with 39 other drivers. Jenkins saw Smith's aptitude firsthand at the Phoenix race last season, and he still plans to have him participate in the Truck Series regularly beginning in 2023. In both 2021 and 2022, Smith came in the 2nd position. Bob Jenkins would either have to lose a chuck or become champion. No real apologies have been offered, and the hurt will never disappear, even though there's no certainty of winning. The NASCAR Truck Series Championship is a fantastic venue in which to display your skills and demonstrate your worth at the highest levels of the sport. However, Smith does not seem to draw much from historical sources. He spent 2 years competing in truck races for GMS Racing, and during that time he finished in 2nd place twice. His decision to return to GMS for his 2nd season was a surprise, as he had been penciled in to replace Kyle Larson at Chip Ganassi Racing in 2021. As early as the first week of November 2021, he was still at GMS, suggesting that he could not go home. It was incredible, according to Smith, that he was able to win a few races in his first season of truck racing, and then perhaps have a chance in a Cup car. Smith has advanced from NASCAR's Truck Series to the sport's Elite National Series. In 2021, I realized that our tremendous speed was not only theoretical. Even though we were underdogs, we made it to the last 4. After finishing 2nd in the championship against Ben Rhodes, Smith was cut from his team for the 2022 season. An agreement with Front Row wasn't finalized until late in November. With his 2022 Truck Championship under his belt, he secured a deal with Front Row to participate in a few Cup events the following year, 2023. Smith has been leaving his car idling at the Phoenix airport for the last 3 years. Even though I knew I could get through this, since I'd gone through worse, the ease with which everything is proceeding and the resilience of my intellect right now continue to astound me. Right now, I'm focusing all I've got on maintaining the status quo. Front Row's chances of keeping Smith on staff until 2023 are low. They recognize his unique value to the team, but they still have the plan to get him to the Cup. Smith may like to stay with the Front Row crew for as long as feasible due to his positive relationships with his fellow truck drivers. Jerry Freese, general manager of Front Row Motorsport, stated, "We've grown more and more serious about the Truck Series to develop, whether it's a driver, whether it's a crew chief or engineer or anything." When Zane was driving for GMS, he dominated the competition and almost won the title. This nearly led us to give Zane the keys to our Cup car. When the dust settles from the 2023 Daytona 500, Smith will reveal his Cup schedule. We should know the outcome of those elections within 2 weeks, as predicted by Smith earlier this month. In all likelihood, there will be representatives from at least 5 and maybe 6 different racial and/or ethnic groups the car dealership front row is not exactly a behemoth. Seems like a truck just drove off. We've come a long way, baby, and I can't wait to go back on the racetrack this Sunday. But I also don't want to put any unnecessary stress on the truck crew or the rest of the racing squad. While in Nashville for the awards, winners and their guests will likely consider Bristol's offer to maintain and operate the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Throughout the next 5 weeks, fans will have not one but 2 chances to have their opinions heard. People who choose to settle down along the rails may be accused of making a disastrous decision. However, even though many Nashville citizens may have abandoned the city to avoid the track's extinction, racing has been allowed to continue at the Nashville Fairgrounds, thanks to a constitutional amendment enacted in 2011. Local taxpayers may weigh in on how their tax dollars and neighboring land are used. If many citizens of the town are against creating a racetrack, the town's elected leaders will have to assess the merits and downsides of the idea. The vast majority of public message boards operate in this manner, so although it may be humorous to make fun of newcomers, it's crucial to keep this in mind. People in Bristol's position will be able to dispute a claim made by a homeowner in the appropriate forums. It's crucial to weigh the benefits and drawbacks of living there. A league that is serious about diversity and inclusion will not disregard supporters' concerns about their physical safety. We have in our hands a genuine 1905 vintage recording. Our failure to address the issue and make the required investments allowed it to deteriorate unchecked for too long. That's exactly how we'll be able to transform it into a resource for the neighborhood. Nashville Mayor John Cooper has given his stamp of approval to the Bristol-Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. After the first 8 races, Smith was already considered a championship candidate thanks to his 3 wins at Daytona, the Circuit of the Americas, and Kansas due to a disqualification. In 2022, Smith had an outstanding season, finishing in the top 5 or 10 of the standings in a league-high 13 races. He entered the championship race at Phoenix, having won 3 races. Even more amazingly, his average finish of 8th has consistently outperformed his average start of 10th. If Smith doesn't win the championship, it won't matter if he placed in the top 10 in 5 of the 6 playoff races that led up to it. The campaign may have been successful even if they hadn't achieved their goal, but it wouldn't change the fact that it would have spoiled an otherwise enjoyable year. In any event, that's not the scenario here. Smith, who had come so close to winning the championship, instead outdid everyone and delivered the goods virtually to the same day he had come so close to losing the crown. In 2020 and 2021, Smith's talent was present in every race. In 2022, he won the Truck Championship Series by concentrating on a fast start and a steady pace. As a result, the concept of a championship claim emerged. There has been a major development in Smith's life narrative, and it's possible that the team's family tree just became much cooler. Will the latest champion continue to grow next year? Tell us in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe for more videos like this.